let's start with the game we do have a line for. That's Washington and Florida. We were talking about how the Capitals do have enough signals here to be live against the Cats, and they paid off in game one. One as a 2-1 underdog in a fully deserving win. The Caps and Panthers kind of flipped roles, where Washington was the team dictating tempo at 5-on-5. The Panthers got good goaltending from Sergei Bobrovsky for the most part, but they just gave up one to two too many good looks for Washington. And when you do that with a team that has the scorers and the playmakers that the Caps do, you're going to pay. And the Panthers paid. I think they were a little naive in this one and basically ate their medicine. Coming back here, it's minus 230 for Florida, Caps plus 190. So basically, right, or a little bit shorter on Washington than what we saw in game one, which is to be expected off the win. The over-under here, 6.5. I mean, do you just go right back to Washington here?
I do. I mean, the Capitals did exactly what we speculated they could do. They forechecked, they neutralized the Panthers' speed, they played a physical game, and they ended up being even in goal. We were expecting that if the Capitals win, then we would see Bobrovsky struggle, which he did not. But Vanacek was good enough, and sometimes that's all it takes. I don't see any tangible reason why the Panthers should be a higher favorite than what they closed game one. Any premium after the way that this game was played, it's just based on narratives. So we'll see where this number goes. But if we're adding there's no way they can go down 2-0 at home premium, I'll be on the Capitals again. There's the way that this game played out. There's just no reason for that line to be any different.
Yeah, I think we touched on this lesson in game one and before game one about these kind of must-win narratives that you can bet against, and usually you'll catch a good number. One thing I think the biggest lesson in when you're talking about a game one, you're really, it's just one game of hockey, and playoffs or not, there's so little you can really take from them. But one thing I think that really does benefit the Capitals here is that the Panthers are the type of team that they are so good at getting separation. And I mean that on the scoreboard, right? They're so good at putting multiple goals in between them and their opponent and causing their opponent to open up, because they got to take risks. When you're down 3-1, you're naturally going to need to take more risks and play a more open style. And as soon as they don't get that, they're in a little bit of trouble, because they're not as good in uncomfortable situations as an elite team should be. Washington is the type of team that will stop a team from getting separation, I should say. It's like they will gum up the neutral zone. They are very structured defensively. They will do whatever it takes to slow the game down and keep you from turning it into a track meet. So it, like we were saying from the jump in our last episode, that this is just a tricky matchup. It's just not as straightforward for Florida as people will think. All right, the other games are out west on Thursday night. Nashville, like I said, they got pummeled from the get-go against Colorado. They closed plus 260 for game one, and I touched on this before game one, which is if the Predators got blown out, if they looked completely overmatched against Colorado, we would likely see this number completely balloon. And I think we're going to see that happen, especially with Dave Riddick being pulled. Connor Ingram came in after I think goal 4 or 5 from Riddick. So there's going to come a time when you're going to have to go with the line when it's at its highest, right? Like it's there's going to be a point where this number gets out of hand, and I'm going to have to bet Nashville in what will be a excruciating way to spend a Thursday evening. But I can, it was funny. I saw this coming. I've been dreading it since before game one when I saw the line open up, and it's definitely coming.
So this is a perfect example of where I learned my lesson last year in the Colorado St. Louis series. I'm watching this game, and they're not even playing in the same building here. You can say all you want, Nashville wasn't ready or like whatever you want to say, but they're just not good enough. At the end of the day, they're just not good enough. Yes, every team has a price, But I mean, for me to back Nashville at this point, it's just gonna. I mean, that's gonna be tough for me to get there. I wouldn't even bet your money on Nashville right now.
It's one of those situations where I wish sports books kind of released everything and just said, okay, here's how many people we have on Nashville, and they release all the information too, so that they can see here's a sick bastard Michael Leboff on Long Island who bet Nashville. And but by the way, guess what? He also bet the Blues every game last year against the Avalanche too. So you can see he is he's he's not that smart. But yeah, I mean, like you said, every team has a number, and I think we're going to get there on the Preds.